Welcome to the world's first multilingual youth talk show, Hey the World! And this is the third season. In this season, we brought together the young pioneers in the implementation of the Global Development Initiative, the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, and gathered together the youth leaders from the first batch of 100 excellent actions of the Action Plan for Global Youth Development to focus on global development issues and contribute youth innovative solutions. And now, let us feel the wisdom and power of the global youth in building a community with a shared future for mankind. According to the latest report from the International Labour Organization, ILO, the global unemployment soared to 220 million people in 2020. Fostering decent work and economic growth, young people around the world are striving for it. Our goal is to drive sustainable and inclusive economic growth, ensuring that everyone has access to productive and decent employment. Judah Isaac Dahilo from Nigeria. He trains aspiring youth across Africa and has dramatically altered the lives of numerous African youths through his efforts. Let's tap into his program, The King's Patriots, and witness how he is reshaping the future of African youth.
Hello everyone, I'm Jude Isaac Dahilo from the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'll show you an astonishing fact. In the highly modernized world today, there are still 160 million children engaged in child labor. It's still true today. In 2021, global output per worker rebounded sharply, growing by 3.2%. However, productivity in the underdeveloped countries declined by 1.6%. In 2023, real GDP in LDCs is projected to grow by 5.7%, which is still 7% below the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Several years ago, I heartbreakingly witnessed numerous young and energetic individuals in our nation descend into the desperation of joblessness. The harsh reality profoundly affected me and made me realize the significant issues of youth unemployment. In this context, I have a journey which is full of grief and despair, hope and perseverance. Despair, unfortunately, often manifested itself in social problems such as crime, violence, and internet fraud. Instead of building futures, the youth in our nation entangled themselves in negative activities, yet rationalizing their actions as a means of survival. The consequences of their actions extended beyond themselves, creating a destructive cycle that gradually eroded the social fabric of our communities. And this marked the beginning of my journey, a journey that strengthened my will to bring about positive change to replace the despair with hope, to lighten the path for these young individuals and to enhance the future of our nation. Change is the key. After deep research, I discovered that many youths are not accountable to anyone, but with mentorship and proper orientation, young people can be very effective, which directly precedes our society. My passion is to raise highly accountable and effective leaders across the West African region and beyond. So, there I founded the King's Patriots Mentorship Program for Africa, to train young people here, to explore their potential and to change their lives. The King's Patriot Mentorship Program for Africa is a youth development program under the auspices of the Youth Network KPDF. While the network generally offers youth capacity trainings and seminars, KPMP for Africa is specifically focused on the mentorship in leadership, employability, and entrepreneurship. However, the road towards success is always confronted with setbacks. Before support came from ECOWAS Youth Center, I have had to self-fund my projects over the last 6 years, which was quite challenging for me. Luckily, there were new hopes after a hard period. Finally, in 2022, I successfully launched my mentorship network, the KPMP for Africa. And then in May 2023, we gave out free 5G electronic devices to exceptional participants of the mentorship program with the support of the Economic Community of West African States Youth Center at our closing ceremony. Through the years, our mentorship program has motivated over 300 young people to engage in sustainable development goals and have gained business skills to start up small businesses. Others have been exposed to several opportunities, both nationally and internationally. So far, we are mentoring over 300 young people, equipping them with leadership and digital skills that make them productive in their communities and businesses. Having hosted over 30 youth development programs in Nigeria and a lot more virtually across the West African region, I indeed feel a lot of accomplishments. Till now, youths from my network are able to stage SDG campaigns, give orientations to students, and some have also hosted free hygiene programs, donating free sanitary pads and other items to community schools in Abuja, Nigeria. It brings me immense joy and excitement when I witness the flourishing of younger generation as accountable, skilled, highly skilled, driven, and socially responsible individuals within their respective communities. As highlighted in the United Nations Youth Demographic Report, our youth is teeming with over 1.8 billion young individuals. Therefore, it would be a remarkably wise decision to strengthen our focus to these vibrant people, harnessing and maximizing their skills to their fullest potential. Compared with my country, it's a fact that numerous places across the globe are blessed with more abundant resources and advanced productivity. So, it would and should be a reality for their youth to influence and inspire people in their countries. By offering diverse and extensive employment opportunities, they can champion the growth and development of young people. This would give people more access to decent jobs, not only enhancing individual lives, but also contributing comprehensively to our global society. As Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu said in his classic of the Virtue of the Tao, a tall tree grows from a small seedling, and the building of a 9-story tower starts with the first shovel of earth. The journey of 1,000 li begins with the first step. The man who moves mountains begins by carrying away small stones. So now let's unite in purpose, step by step, pulling our collective strengths in pursuit of inclusive and sustainable economic growth. We are determined to cultivate an environment that fosters full employment, ensuring decent work for every individual without exception. In 2019, I was in great honor to get the opportunity to make a speech at the ECOWAS and African Union Youth Summit. During the summit, youth representatives from 36 states of Nigeria were present, and I had the opportunity to influence thousands of people. And here I am today, feeling honored to take this initiative in response to the SDGs. Together, let's hold hands side by side to promote sustainable, inclusive, sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the world's first multilingual youth talk show, Hey the World. So thank you so much, Jude, for an inspiring speech. You mentioned in your speech 1,000 miles, start with the first step. So thank you for making the first step. Mentorship program is very, very important. I mean, even there's always been a saying when I was going to university where Bill Gates, right, dropped out of university, but then they end up creating Microsoft when thousands of people who have, PhD and degrees work for him, right? So there is a difference. We have another panelist from Nigeria. I wonder, what do you think? And what do you think the role of Nigerian government play in youth employment?
I first and foremost want to say how excited I am to share the stage with a fellow Nigerian and to also share the Nigerian experience when it comes to employability, employment, and youth productivity. The Nigerian youth are very, very intelligent. They're skilled, they're knowledgeable, let me say street smart, and they go to school. But the problem is when they come out of school, getting them prepared for the work or for the job roles they are to be engaged in is a big problem. Why? Because the curriculum in the educational sector doesn't really prepare them for that. And then most of the time, when you find the highly skilled ones, they're always looking for opportunities to go abroad. And when they go abroad, they're being utilized there. When you go to every part of the world, you see Nigerians doing amazing things. So having people like Jude do the things they do, in mentoring, in preparing the youth to be, gainfully employed, and not just gainfully employed, but very productive in way of mentoring, in way of skills acquisition, in ways of even channeling their minds to not venturing into what is negative, unproductive for them or counterproductive for them is really commendable. I really appreciate what he's doing. And I and I really think that if we have more young Nigerians doing this, it will really boost the efforts of government, because really the government is trying as much as it can to improve the standard of education, to improve the standard of learning. But the skills, having practical skills is not really easy for the Nigerian youth, or have the institution teach them on how to be employable.
I can feel the passion and love that you have for your country.
Thank you.
So let's move to another great African country. So South Africa. Is a similar situation there? Do South African youth want to stay in South Africa, or are they attracted by opportunity abroad?
So we have some incredible universities in Africa. That is no doubt. Our education system is phenomenal, but the jobs just aren't there. Well, I could say in South Africa, we have been blessed with being able to learn the skills and the knowledge necessary, but there's no way to venture out. Or those who spend 5+ years of studies don't want to study or continue working within South Africa because the monetary value of that time that they've spent to surviving there is just not present. So many qualified individuals are now leaving our country, venturing elsewhere, especially to Western worlds and first-degree countries, or first world countries, to get jobs because South Africa just won't be able to provide, and which is leaving quite a big pitfall in the amount of specialized individuals that are trying to help or trying to run businesses or work for companies in South Africa. The only way to sustain yourself currently is to either adventure into your own business and start up your own business, or you study and you get specialized to a field, but then you have to move elsewhere to be able to survive.
That's great stories. On one side, right, universities need to prepare students not for the job now, but for when they graduate. But at the same time, universities need to work hand in hand with employer and the society and the government in a holistic way so that we can create more opportunity for young people. So talking about creating opportunity for young people, Ma He, I know you're doing a lot with international students who are in China, and you have stayed in China for quite some time too. Can you share a little bit about what you're doing and how you're creating youth employment opportunity?
Well, thank you for calling on me. Yes, I have been living in China for the past 10 years. I did my bachelor's and master's in a Chinese university, University of International Business and Economics. And I was also responsible for organizing the largest career fairs and a lot of workshops helping international students to learn about the job market in China and find the right opportunities. We even had a topic for it as My China Opportunity or My Job Opportunity in Belt and Road.
Oh.
So that's a very common topic among the international students community. And for the past few years, in different capacities, I have been involved in supporting and creating these opportunities for them as well. But there's a lot of challenges, and I think one of the biggest challenges, everybody else discussed it as well, is mismatch. The skill gap definitely exists. The skill gap exists because the technology is developing so fast. But aside from that, there's another mismatch, is a mismatch of expectations. A lot of the time when youth start their career or they start their study journey, they don't position themselves in a way that can be for a future-oriented career. A lot of the time they look back at the past, but unfortunately, looking back at the past will not equip you for the future. The future requires a new different set of skills, a new different mindset, and a whole new approach on how you're gonna find the right opportunities. So for me, I think first we have to close the gaps, close the mismatches of expectations, followed by closing the gap for skills, and then also positioning them for a future-oriented economy and tell them about the jobs in future and support and empower them to prepare for that future.
And towards supporting them all the way, I'm just thinking about mentorship, the importance of mentorship, and mentor can play throughout the whole entire system because they might be looking for a job for the first time, but there are thousands and thousands of people before them who have very similar situations. So I want to turn to, we have heard from a lot of developing countries. US is a developed country, the largest economy in the world. I wonder whether American youths can escape the problem of employment Are American young people graduating, are they worried about getting jobs?
There are so many people graduating and going to university in the United States, but the number of job openings doesn't go up every year as the graduates go up. People are starting to retire later and later in life. Yeah, and so, yeah, lately it used to be like the ages of retirement would be like 55, and now it's moving up to 65. And so people are being pushed to retirement later and later. And that doesn't clear up a lot of the job opportunities that need to be available for recent graduates. And
the situation of youth employment is closely linked to all aspects of our society. Decent work enhance employees' satisfaction and motivation, and leading to increased productivity, as many of us has mentioned, which create a positive cycle for the economy. So according to the latest report on global youth employment trends for 2022 by the International Labour Organization, since the early 2020, the youth population has experienced a significantly higher proportion of job losses compared to adults. It's important to understand, if we do ignore the youth now, the youth will ignore the world in the future. So it's important to engage young people. It's important to give opportunity for young people, even though if they have made mistakes.
Absolutely.
We need to show them that we care for them. We need to integrate them back to the society with a lot of mentoring too.
Yeah.
So youth employment is about seeking opportunities in development. The younger generation, as the backbone of a nation's productivity, needs constant innovation exploration. We also appreciate the contribution shared by every young representative here today. I love the discussion. Thank you so much. And we promise, as global young people, we will take action to achieve the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and make significant contribution to youth employment and entrepreneurship. Thank you so much. And this is Hey the World. Goodbye.
Change is the key. After deep research, I discovered that many youth are not accountable to anyone, but with mentorship and proper orientation, young people can be very effective, which directly precedes our society.
El cambio es la clave. Después de una profunda investigación, descubrí que muchos jóvenes no rinden cuentas a nadie, pero con mentoría y una orientación adecuada, los jóvenes pueden ser muy efectivos, lo cual beneficia directamente a nuestras sociedades.
It brings me immense joy and excitement when I witness the flourishing of younger generation as accountable, skilled, highly skilled, driven, and socially responsible individuals within their respective communities.
Cela me procure une immense joie et excitation lorsque je constate l'épanouissement de notre jeune génération en tant qu'individus responsables, hautement compétents, motivés et socialement responsables au sein de leur communauté respective.
A tall tree grows from a small seedling, and the building of a 9-story tower starts with the first shovel of earth. A journey of 1,000 li begins with the first step.
合抱之木，生于毫末；九层之台，起于垒土；千里之行，始于足下。
Together, let's hold hands side by side to promote sustainable, inclusive, sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all.
Вместе давайте держаться за руки, плечом к плечу, чтобы содействовать устойчивому, всеобъемлемому и устойчивому экономическому росту.